that time again. It's time for Diary of Physicist Farmgal. My name is Deborah, and I'm coming to you from here on my family farm in the foothills of the Arkansas Ozarks. No, you can't have that. You can't have that. Tell Shirley about it, because you ain't getting it from me. Where I like to do all the crafts. I knit, I crochet, I sew, I quilt. I guess he's going to try again. I make baskets, I make jewelry. I like to do needlework. I'll try any craft once and twice if I like it. I am also a professor at a local university where I teach courses to physics majors and also to general education majors about astronomy and astrophysics, physical science and physics. And I am a docent at our planetarium in the times when we could have planetarium shows. And hopefully those times will be again soon, because I am 2 weeks plus past my second shot. Woohoo! And they're saying that by May 1st, everybody in Arkansas that wants a shot can get one. So I hope people will take advantage of that. Woohoo! I am also a farmer. I am a third plus generation family farmer here on this land that I've lived on. My family has lived on. I haven't, but my family has lived on for well over a century, where I raise grass-fed beef cattle. I raise horses. I have heritage poultry, show quality rabbits. I have a retirement herd of miniature horses, miniature donkeys, and a miniature mule named Pumpkin who thinks she rules a roost. Plus there's Princess Penny, the potbelly pig. And I'll tell you a story about some turkeys in the farming segment. And no, it's not about the gray turkey. He's still a jerk, but I have another turkey story. So if you can tell from my little co-host Willie here, who's being nosy as can be today, I am fur kid mom to 14 dogs, 7 indoor cats, and an undetermined number of outside barn cats. And you can't have that. That's a piece of paper anyway. You don't want that. Early. Prince Willie's being bad. So if any or all of that sounds interesting to you, I hope you'll come online and join me on Diary of a Physicist Farmgal. If you're looking for us on social media, my farm Facebook page is the same as my YouTube channel name. It's Buckthorn Farms, where I post farming related stuff and homesteading articles and all that kind of stuff. I am also on Ravelry and on Instagram as Doc Firewoman. And you can also find a Ravelry group for the podcast, Diary of the Physicist Farmgal, and a Facebook group for the podcast, where you can find out about make-alongs and giveaways. And we do run some giveaways through Instagram as well. Simon. Did you hear me say Shirley's name, so you had to come show her your butt? Okay, nobody needs to see that. Go on. Anyway, we are running several make-alongs. I'm not going to go into detail about a lot of them. There is going to be a bonus video about April's mini monthly mal that I'm going to do an interview with Logan from Leon Alexander Yarn, so be on the lookout for that. But we are running several make-alongs, and I will also remind you we have monthly activities such as the stitching weekend, the sewing weekend, and now I've started the finally freaking finish it weekend. So watch on Instagram and on the Facebook group for those hashtags, and you can get involved in some giveaways there. That's all I'm going to say about make-alongs. I will remind you, I am on Twitter under Doc Firewoman, but if I am a fairly socially liberal Democrat, and if that kind of stuff gives you heartburn, it's probably best that you don't follow me on Twitter. You know, the whole cancel culture thing, okay, you don't like it that they're canceling something you like, but I bet you could think of things that you would like to see canceled. Maybe, you know, people killing each other because they don't like where they're from would be a good place to start. You know, stopping hating on people because they're from a different place than you. That'd be a good thing to cancel. Let's cancel that. Yeah, let's cancel people dying because they can't get the health care they need. Let's cancel animal and elder abuse and child abuse and child trafficking. How about? Let's cancel those things too. So, you know, there are some things that need to be canceled. Anyway, that was a rant, but whatever. And I've had a lot of bad days in my life, and I ain't never wanted to kill 8 people. So, you know, let's quit apologizing for a certain class of people being bad and call them what they are. They are murderers and they are terrorists. Anyway, that's the kind of stuff you see on Twitter. That's a little preview. If you don't like that, you're going to have to follow me on Twitter. Anyway, so we're going to move on, if I can get rid of these animals, and talk about finished objects. Okay, so I thought I would go ahead and record my FO segment while I was waiting Logan is going to do an interview for me. I'm going to release that as a separate little bonus episode to talk about our April mini monthly mal. So I thought I would come back here and show you my FOs. I don't have any fibery FOs this week, but I do have some sewing ones and some cross stitch. So this is a fully finished object. I finished the little bunny rabbit pillow. Now, what I did on the back, I think I made the overlapping back here, but I think what I'm going to do is actually sew some buttons, just decorative buttons on that to keep it closed. This is a 22-inch pillow form I had to order because my pillow form that I had was not large enough. And I like the smoothness of a pillow form as opposed to trying to stuff it with fiberfill. I can't get it as smooth. So yeah, I finished my little pillow. The pillow form still needs to plump up a little bit, but I think it looks really cute. And that's going to be a fair entry if we have a fair this year. My next FO is here on the dress form. If you joined us for our sewing day, we have once a month, we have the sewing circle, the DPF sewing circle, and you can enter for prizes. Last month's winner was Tyra, and I will draw and announce the winner for this month, and I'll put their name in at the end, or I'll announce it on Instagram or something, because if every hour that you check in that you're doing a sewing project, you get an entry. But this is the Concord Tea by Cashmerette. This is in some knit fabric that I got from fabric.com. This is the scoop neck view. Now, I like the fit on this. It is a little bit longer and it is shaped. It's a shaped tee, so it has more of a women's fit. It's not just a straight unisex fit. I don't like women's fit. I just like to say fitted tee. But I do like it. These are about bracelet length sleeves, which I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, they're okay and they're fine and I don't mind them. But I've actually got one in progress where I've lengthened the sleeves a little bit to make them a little bit longer. I don't mind having some of the shorter sleeved ones, but I do want some long sleeved ones as well. Then also, I have two pairs of Belmont leggings. These are the Belmont leggings, again, by Cashmerette. This is a knit fabric from fabric.com. This one has constellations on it, you can see here. These are super fast, super easy to make, really fit, very easy to fit really well. If you go back and watch my fitting video, you can see kind of how I measured these and got the length right and everything. And then this is another pair of the Belmont leggings by Cashmerette. Again, both of these fabrics are on fabric.com. So those are my finished objects for this week. So we're going to move on and go back into the kitchen and talk about works in progress. Okay, so I have several works in progress that I will show you. Some of the things there are some things I haven't worked on at all since our last podcast, so I won't show you those, but I will show you what I have been working on. The first thing is I am making the Bernie doll for my friend Mason. It is a gift for him, and the pattern is down in this bag somewhere, and I'm not going to bother to try to dig it out. But it's crochet doll of Bernie Sanders sitting at the inaugural, and I'm got this far. And I have a leg started. So I'm this far on it. I had started it and was working on it, and I kind of put it down. Someday I'm going to move back to the back room and y'all will miss all these animal cameos. But anyway, so I am working on the Bernie doll. I'm also working on the We Believe Sal. I am behind. I don't have the new section done. But I'm almost done with the first section. I am doing the smalls, because I've decided what I'm going to do is make a mobile. This is the We Believe Sal by Notorious Needle. I just have to finish my border here, and then this will be ready to finish off and stuff. I'm going to make a mobile to hang in my office because my office space is wall space is pretty limited. So, you know, so I figured a mobile I could hang from the ceiling, and that wouldn't be wouldn't take up any space. So, again, this is a pattern by Notorious Needle. That needle minder is for Boutique Pagey, and I don't know, I needed to look up where I got my Tacosaurus grime guard. I got it on Etsy. I should look it up. And it's in a bag by April 9 Designs. So this is the We Believe Sal. It comes out every 2 weeks, and I love it. My friend Stacy told me about it. It's a friend of hers that's actually doing it. Okay, then in my Skinny Laminx bag, I have my Lindy Stitches Funky Menagerie Sal. I did get done with the second month installment, and I have not yet started the third month, but I've got time. So I finished the second monthly installment. It's just a bunch of little whimsical creatures here. So when last you saw it, I don't think I had the cuttlefish or the beaver or the cat done. Or no, I didn't, and I didn't have the hedgehog done. So, and I didn't have the border done. So got that part done. The needle minder is by Top Notch Stitcher Shop. And this is on Lotus by the Stitch Me. This is one of their fabric of the month. This is 18 count, or it's 28 count over 2. So, and I'm just using mostly the call for colors. I made a couple of substitutions for colors that I didn't have. So, but it's mostly in the called for colors. That's the Lindy Stitches Funky Menagerie Sal. It's a very doable Sal. I am just terrible about keeping up with stuff. Y'all know this about me, but I still try. I like to try. Okay, in my little kitty cat's bag from my local needle workshop, A Stitcher's Garden, I have worked a little bit on my space sampler. My space sampler by Mathosphere, Jerry Ambrose. Got the pattern on Etsy. I have, last time you saw it, I had completed these 2 blocks. I am working on this block. It has a shadow of a refracting telescope, the long skinny tubes. Are the refractors, and that is in this block here, and I've worked on this border. So again, I don't remember where I got the grime guard, and this time I don't remember where I got the needle minder either. I need to look that stuff up because I'd like to rip for the people whose stuff I like. So anyway, this is on 25 count, 25 count, what is it? Lugana, 25 count Lugana over 2. So, yeah, that is the Space Sampler by Mathosphere, and I'm using all the call for colors on that, and I will show you a picture of what the whole shebang looks like, since it's not a Sal. So there it is. There's the space. So I'm working on this block right here. Okay, and then we got an H2 region here I'll do next, and then I think I'm going to go across and do Jupiter and the Aurora, and then that's the Apollo 11 landing site, and then the moon phases. So I'll do those next. Okay. Sadie, when you sat down, it sounded like the house turned over. We had storms here yesterday. We went from having blizzards to having tornadoes and storms. We didn't get any bad weather here, but a friend of mine lives to the southeast of here, and they had pretty bad wind in their neighborhood, which was not good. Okay, then Kirsty had sent me the little whale, so I barely started on him, and I decided I was going to be silly and use the little needles that are in the kit. So this is how far I am on the whale. This is his top. So if you see, I'm working on, you start here and you work back. So that's where I'm at on the little whale. I decided I wanted to use the everything that came in the kit. So this is the blue whale, or it just says make your own whale. She got this at Aldi, and she was kind enough to send that to me. I thought that was really sweet of her to do. Okay, let's see. Then I have worked a little bit on my sweater. I've worked on the sleeve a little bit, and then worked on the body some because I got on FaceTime with Vanessa. Speaking of Kirsty, she made this bag, Grenade Creations. I worked on my sweater a little bit. I started going around the body some more because I was on a Zoom call with Vanessa from A Historia Knits podcast, and I thought it would be easy to knit on this sweater and not have to pay attention. So, yeah. I didn't move my little Yeti down. Let me move him down here. So, you know, it's not very exciting to look at, I don't guess, because it's just working on a sweater body. But when last I showed it to y'all, it was where the little Yeti from Charmed and Dangerous is. Let me turn him around there. See, he's cute. Little Yeti. And I've added maybe a couple of inches to it. And the sleeve, I'm still working on it too. I've got to get 6 inches on this sleeve. And then I'll start doing, I guess, the decreases. So I had messed up in my raglan panel. And I thought, oh, I'll just stop it and I'll just knit straight on the sleeves. And that bugged me. So I dropped back and fixed the row, the row that I messed up on, because, you know, it was going to bug me. I didn't look like looking like I had epaulets on my shoulders. But anyway, this is Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in a colorway called Mineral Heather. This is the Flax by Tin Can Knits. Very nice, basic sweater, beginner, great for a beginner sweater pattern. Yeah, so I need to pull that back out and work on it. I have focused most of my energy, though, on the next thing, which is my last work in progress that I will share with y'all. It is in a bag that was made specially for me by Junie 4B, or Junie Sews, Magic Junie Sews. She was my partner, my swap partner in the project bag swap a couple of Christmases ago, and she made this awesome bag for me out of fabric that she knew I would love. So this is the Magic Spring Shawl. The Magic Spring Shawl is a knit-along being hosted by Yolanda from the Happy Knits podcast, and it is by, let me make sure I get the person's name right, Kathy on Ravelry. Yolanda did an interview with her, and I am knitting this out of these 3 colors. I'm on the 3rd color, which is this one. So this is Lady Violet and Hippie Chick from Kim Marie Knit Knacks, and then this is Unicorn Sparkles from Expression Fiber Arts. And I'm on the 3rd, I'm about halfway through the 3rd section, I think. Or maybe not quite halfway, but I'm about halfway, maybe a little less than halfway through the 3rd section. So this is a nice long sort of boomerang shaped shawl, very simple knit. It's garter stitch with rose violets to break up the colors. So, and I'm really, really, really happy with my color choices. It reminds me of those candies that you used to get at Easter time. I don't remember what they were called, but Brock's made them, and they were Easter eggs, and they had this like super sugary coating on the outside and this weird white nougat on the inside, and these colors remind me of those outside coatings. So on this, I've got a little parade of keepers, progress keepers from Charmed and Dangerous. I've got a winter narwhal, a winter wolf, and a panda narwhal. So yeah, so this is the Magic Spring Shawl. It's part of the Happy Shawl knit along that Yolanda is hosting. It ends at the end of March. If you're a faster knitter than I am, you could probably still get in on that and finish it by the end of the month. I will be excited if I can get it finished by the end of the month. Because like I said, I am terrible about keeping up with stuff. And so I never assume I'm going to be able to keep up with anything. So those are all my works in progress. So we'll come back in a little bit and talk about future crafting. Okay, I'm just going to show a couple of things in future crafting here. You know, sometimes you go through your stuff and you forget that you bought something. And that happens a lot to me because I buy a lot of stuff. I have basically a craft supply that will last me well into my next lifetime. So, but I decided I wanted to get all of my purchases that I had gotten for cross stitching, since I kind of started back again, all in one place. So I had gotten a tub to put everything in, and I was like, oh, I forgot about getting these. I had gone into my local needlework shop, and they had these pre-prepared table runners and the patterns to go with them. So this is by the Stitchworks, okay, and it's out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I think these might have been from Market a couple of years ago. I got the Halloween one and the Easter one. Okay, so I think I want to maybe start on the Easter one. The Easter one is on 32 count linen, it looks like. So I think I want to go ahead and start on that and get that made. I am not sure, though, how this is working with the fabric. I guess, oh, it's open. Okay, that's what you do. It's opened up on the end so that you can get in there and put your fabric in a hoop and then stitch on it, and it'll hide your back. Yay. Because you know what? I admire the heck out of people who have nice backs. That ain't me. I ain't that gal. I do not have nice backs on my cross stitch, and you know what? Nobody sees it. And if anybody does see it, they won't get anything else to look at from me. That's kind of where I'm at. Life's too short. But anyway, so if you have a nice, neat back on your stuff, I am proud of you as I could be. That ain't me. That ain't your girl. So anyway, so I think I'm going to start on this. I think that will be really super cute. I think these are still available. I know I went into the needlework shop on Tuesday as I was headed down for my tattoo appointment. And if you'll notice, my arm is shiny. This is Tattoo Derm. It's the bandage. It's the clear bandage that goes over your tattoo. You wear the first piece for the first 24 hours. And then you take that off in the shower. And then you put another piece on for 48 hours. This is my 48-hour piece. So tomorrow, I will take this off. We started on the background, which is all space stuff. So you can see there's the Witch Head Nebula. And then on my elbow is the Helix Nebula. And then over here by my Luna Moth is the Andromeda Galaxy. I'll go back in May to do the top background and to start on my left arm. So anyway, but I went into the needlework shop to pick up my market order or whatever it was in. And I noticed that she still had the runners, so I'm sure she still has the patterns that goes with them. And you can see on the back kind of some of the ones that are available there. I'm just gonna see, they have a website, stitchworks.com, so you might go on their website and see what they have available. So I've also bought the Halloween one, so eventually I'll do that one too. Okay, then this is a bag that Maria out in Colorado, she's kind enough that we do a swap every year in the winter holidays, and she always makes bags, like she does like a theme swap for me. So this was the first year we did it, and this was all sciencey stuff. So in this, I think this is Into the World, and it's radioactive is the colorway, and I want to do the Wibbly Wobbly cowl, which I don't have the pattern in here, but it is it's a cowl that's knit flat, and it's knit so you have the zigzags, and it takes advantage of the self-striping of yarn to make those chevron shapes. So this is in my basket that I keep by my chair in the den. I just haven't got to it yet because I really want to get that Magic Spring shawl done. So that's all the future crafting I'm going to show you for today. I've got some sewing stuff I want to do too, but we'll save that for another time. I am going to do a sewing video, though. I had a request, and it's one that I use. It's a full bust adjustment for darts because I am a double D cup, and most patterns are not adjusted right for that. Even if they're full figured patterns, I'm very broad shouldered and have a large chest, but I'm a little bit, I mean, I'm not a lot smaller, but I am proportionately a little bit smaller in my waist area compared to for what my shoulders are. So I'm going to show how to do a full bust dart adjustment at some point. So I think I'm going to do a video about that at some point. So stay tuned. Next week is spring break. I might be able to do it then. So we're going to move on and talk about acquisitions. Y'all, I went into the needle workshop unsupervised. And let's just say I was helping the local economy out. I'm not going to show you everything I got, but I will show you a couple of things that I picked up. And also, you know, living through this last year, I kind of let myself go in terms of my appearance. And also, I didn't have a decent pair of shoes. My tennis shoes had fallen apart. I had muck boots, riding boots, and another pair of work boots that were all in pretty bad shape. And can't really wear those to work when I go back to campus. And they think we're going to be able to go back at full capacity this fall. I just kind of let things get in a pretty appalling state. Same with my blue jeans, with everything. So I bought myself some shoes. You know, got my tax return, and I said, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy myself some shoes, some new blue jeans, or new to me blue jeans. This is what I did. I used like a thread up service and got some used blue jeans, but they were still in good shape, and some bras. You know, kind of the big three there. But I also decided I would buy myself some fabric, and some more fabric, because I have got still from my original fabric.com order, I've got the stuff to make another charcoal gray t-shirt and some black t-shirts. I was going to make leggings, but that knit is kind of thin, and I want leggings that I can wear to work and not feel self-conscious about them. Those ones that I have made, I love the fit of those. So I ordered some fabric from Mood out of New York, and I don't know when it'll be here, but I ordered it because they had a sale. I love a good sale. So I ordered some fabric to make like some jumper dresses and some skirts to wear over leggings, things like that. So that when I go back in the fall, I'll have, you know, some nice clothes to wear and some shoes. But all that being said, I went to the needle workshop on my way to my tattoo appointment to pick up my stuff from Market, but I'm not going to show you much of that today. But what I am going to show you is I did get, this is Claire Garland's book, Magical Woodland Knits. I love her knitted amigurumis. If you join her mailing list, she has a free pattern that comes out once a week. Now, some of these are fairly, you know, involved, and you have to, you know, be comfortable knitting on circular, or not on circulars, but on double points, and you know, they can be a little bit fussy, but that's okay. You know, it's good practice. You could always knit them on with larger yarn and make them a little bit bigger. So this is Magical Woodland Knits by Claire Garland, and yeah, she's done some really beautiful patterns. She's got patterns available on Ravelry too, as well, so you can find those. But you know, like, isn't that beautiful? So if you sign up for her mailing list, you get a free pattern. I think it's once a week on Friday if you're on her mailing list. And they're usually good beginner-friendly patterns. So I would suggest you get on her mailing list if you like this kind of stuff. This was one of my favorites, that barn owl. Isn't he beautiful? Okay, so Magical Woodland Knits by Claire Garland. Then my friend Amy, we're in a book group where we're reading Burnout by the Najeski sisters. They're both PhDs, and one of them is I think a psychologist, and the other one is a music professor. And we've been talking about a lot of different things, so I have bought a couple of books as a result of that. And I find that I don't do well reading these sorts of books on electronic formats because I like to make notes in them. So my friend Amy mentioned this called Necessary Endings, and it's about letting go of things. And I am not good at that. I am not good of letting go of relationships. If I don't get obvious closure, and even if I do, sometimes I'm not good about, I kind of beat myself up about letting go of things. So she suggested this book in our book group, so I decided to get that. Okay, then Brenda and Heather Yarns back right after the inaugural had a colorway of yarn that they did, and it's called Joe and the Dream Coats, and it is the colors of the large skein are all the fabulous coats that all those amazing women were wearing at the inauguration, and then the black matches President Biden's black coat that he was wearing. So this is Joe and the Dream Coats. This is a sock set. I really don't think I'm going to knit socks out of this. I think I'm going to use these and make a cowl because I want this to be seen. I want this to be seen. So, yeah. I think it's important that we be seen. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of keeping my mouth shut. And, you know, I'm not going to apologize for what I believe, because I think when it all comes down to it, I'm on the right side of being a human. Take that for what you will. All right. Okay, so I went into the needle workshop. Now, Tyra and I, my friend Tyra and I, had talked about doing the Salem Witch Trial, something in tribute to the Salem Witch Trials. And she had watched this very powerful documentary on Hulu, and I honestly haven't quite been in the headspace to watch it yet. But I'm going to watch it eventually. But I decided that I wanted to do something to commemorate the women who lost their lives and were murdered, yes, during the Salem witch trials. And there were some men that also were murdered as well. I don't know at Salem, but I know in Europe's burning times, there were men who were also killed. Basically, if you were a loudmouth, outspoken woman who knew how to make people not get sick by using herbs, you were a target. I'm pretty sure I'd have been burnt by mistake. But anyway, so I selected this pattern from the Little Stitcher. This is an older pattern. No, it's not. It's from 2020. So this is the Salem Trials. And when I was in the needlework shop the other day, it was like just perfect serendipity. I walked in and she had a table there of things that she had picked up at market. And she had this. And it's newspaper from the same year as the trials. Okay, I mean, y'all. This is from Fabric Flare. Y'all. This is 32 count linen. But this, I mean, this is perfect for this. So I'm looking really forward to starting that. I think we're going to, I don't know when we decided. We talked about starting that on Christmas Eve. May start it on Halloween. I don't know. But anyway, so yeah. Woohoo. I was like, yes, that is too perfect to pass up. Okay, then I got my fabric of the month from Be Stitch Me. This was February's fabric of the month. This is a colorway called Peony, or Peony is what my grandma used to call them, but Martha Stewart calls them peonies. So anyway, it's one of them flowers. Peonies, peonies, whatever. Here they are. So it's a kind of a really pretty purplish, modelly purplish pink. It's got a little bit of a pink undertone to it. So yeah, got that. And then the last thing that I will show is, or no, oh shoot, I was going to show y'all this that I had made. Well, I made myself a new pin banner, and on it, I've got some pins from the Pickety Witch. So this is the Mary Lloyd pin, the horse that I talked about at Yule. This is the Yule Bach, and then this is the May Queen pin, and these are all from Pickety Witch. So I had to make a new pin banner because my pin banners that I've already got made are full, and I've got some pins coming from Alum and Ink. So I love my pins, y'all. The last thing that I will show is I got an ad. Normally, I don't open a lot of the email ads that I get for whatever reason. Usually, it saves me money if I don't open them, right? But for whatever reason, I opened this one from 123 Stitch. And in it, they had advertised the new Prairie Schooler Santa for 2021. And I went, oh, I love it. Look at those animals. Okay. So it's got, looks like a mallard duck, a snowy owl, a raccoon, maybe a chickadee down there, and a wolf or a fox, I guess. Actually, I might say the color of this thing should be more like this color, and then this guy ought to be more this color, but whatever. So I saw that, and then I got to looking at, and they had these on sale. So I got to looking at the other ones that were available from kind of I guess they have themes that they follow and they change them out every so often. So the latest one has been animals. So I went back and I bought 2020 with the bunnies, 2019 also with the bunny and animals, 2018 with the sheep and the lamb, 2017 with the polar bear and the dove, or the ptarmigan. Maybe it's a ptarmigan. I don't know if it's a dove or a ptarmigan. And then 2016 with the deer. Now, I've got it in my head that what I want to do is when I was at that thrift store that I like to go to up in Northeast Arkansas, where my friend Lisa lives and my friend Carol and I go every year. And if you followed my Vlogmas, you've seen me go there. I found some of those that someone had made, and they'd made it on like 10 count fabric, and then they'd cut it out and they fixed a bottom where it would stand up. I kind of want to do something like that with those. I have to think on that a little bit, but I kind of want to do something like that with those, so we'll see. But anyway, that was a lot of shopping, y'all. That was a lot of shopping. But anyway, so now we're going to move on and talk briefly about science. Okay, so I don't have a lot to talk about in science this week, but I do have an exciting announcement. My student Grace, she's the bomb. She won the College of Natural Science and Math Outstanding Student Award. Every year at graduation, we award, every college in our university awards an Outstanding Student Award, and Grace won it this year, so I'm so thrilled. And she made the cut on all the NASA Pathways internships, and yesterday she had an interview with Johnson Space Center. So I think she's pretty well decided that she's going to go to the University of Maryland. I believe that next week they're going up to look at apartments. Her parents and her are going to go up there and look at apartments, and she's going to visit with the person that runs the lab. I was so tickled. I was so tickled that she won that. It's so super exciting. Like I mentioned, they do think that we're going to be able to go back full time, full capacity in the fall, which will be awesome. But I think I'm going to take some lessons from what I've learned from the positive aspects of teaching online. And those are the labs. For my particular class, I think they get as much out of those online labs as they do the in-class labs in a lot of cases. Because the online labs, a lot of what we talk about in modern physics is kind of a black box because it's so small scale, you can't see it. So understanding what's happening in that experiment sometimes is not intuitive. So there are simulations out there that kind of show what happens behind the veil, if you will. So I think that that aspect of it, I think that there are some things that could be beneficial to our students if we kept using that methodology. Also, I've been doing every week, we've been having Mindfulness Monday at work where there's somebody that leads a guided meditation. It's open to faculty, staff, and students. And I think that that's been really good to kind of help keep me on track and centered as we work through the semester. I know the students are just tired and burned out. And, none of us, some students love the online classes because they don't have to commute. And I get that. But some students hate it. And, I'm afraid the ones that hate it are kind of getting lost in the cracks. So I'm looking forward to being back on campus, but I also think that there's room to have sort of more hybrid delivery for my classes. And so I'm going to explore that this next year. Yeah, so there's not a whole lot going on campus other than we're just kind of chugging along. We've got spring break next week, and then we come back and we only have 3.5 weeks or 4 weeks, and then we're done. So, we're kind of grinding down to the end of the semester here. But yeah, so that has been kind of what's going on. We got to rekey the building. I know that. I've got to go down and get my new keys because apparently something happened to the keys, or anytime anybody doesn't turn a key in or loses a key, they rekey the entire freaking building. And that's a pain, but whatever. They were going to have people come down during spring break, and I'm like, nope. So they're doing a key pickup day the Monday after spring break. So I'll go down there then. And since all of my fellow faculty members have been fully vaccinated, we might actually be able to talk face to face and maybe go have lunch or something, which would be really nice. Like I said, I think there are some positive things that we can take away from this experience. There are things that I will never take for granted again. Like I said, I will never take for granted just being able to walk down the hallway and stop and talk to a colleague or stop and talk to a student sitting in their office. I will never take for granted be able to look my students in the eye and see their confusion or see when they're having problems and they maybe need a little talking to outside of class, just kind of see if they're on an even keel. It's been a hard year. And I hope that as we move forward, we don't go back to normal, that we take, away some of the things that were negative, like the glorification of being busy, and we move forward with a more mindful attitude. I hope that's what we do. So, anyway, where are you going? Oh, okay, you want to sit that way. Okay. But anyway, so that's kind of all that's going on in the science world. So we'll move on now and talk about farm life. Okay, so farm. We had snow and then we had storms, and all of a sudden there's an explosion of green outside. And I am so glad. I am so glad we've had the time change. The days are longer. You know, everything is warmed up. And so there's an explosion of green. I've got a new baby calf since the last time you and I talked. You know, starting to get ready for garden season. Bought some lettuces and some kale and what else did I get? I got 2 things of lettuce, kale, and broccoli. I love broccoli. So gonna get that put in the ground probably tomorrow or the next day. It's very windy and cold outside today, so I don't know that I'm gonna go outside and fight with it today. So yeah, everything's starting to green up. Ghosty stayed home, but I took Bo and Flame and Trixie back to the barn and rode, and it was very nice to be back on the horse. Their feet are still looking pretty good, so I'm pleased about that. Now, here's the story. I got up, was it Wednesday morning that I went outside? No, Tuesday. I was getting ready to leave to go to my tattoo appointment on Tuesday because I had a full day booked and I was leaving out about 10 o'clock. Went outside to feed and I'm like, there's 2 more turkeys. I saw them walking around kind of down into the ditch and I'm like, are those wild turkeys up here? Well, then here they come again. Here they come back around and there's just 2 of them, but they're not afraid of me. They're not wild. They don't look dark brown enough to be our local version of wild turkeys. They look forevermore just like my Narragansett female. So there's 2 turkeys out there. I don't know where they came from. There's 2 turkeys. Okay. I did rewire my chicken tractor and move the chickens in there because the coon came and got my older rooster. My friend Melissa had brought me a young Delaware rooster. And I hadn't had any problems with the coon. And then I went outside and the rooster was missing and I found evidence that a raccoon had gotten him. So I wired up that chicken tractor with really heavy duty wire, sewed it shut basically so they couldn't separate the panels and get in between them. And I put my chickens in there, but they were kind of beating that rooster up. There's one in particular, so she's in timeout right now. But everybody else is doing pretty good. The ponies are starting to shed. I went out there the other day and I was brushing them and there was just hair going everywhere. It was kind of crazy. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on. You know, right now we're just waiting on spring break and for it to fair up. And I've got some projects I need to work. My spring break projects are these. I want to work on this fence up by my barn and get some new posts set and fix it so I can turn the ponies in that bigger area. I want to get this spare room finished cleaning it up. It looks terrible right now, but that's because I've drug everything out of the closet to reorganize it. And I think once I put things back in the closet and sweep, because I kind of was working my way around the room. So that part of the room over there is done. But right now I've got this barricade of stuff that was in that closet. Miss Betsy has had her second shot as well. She will be 2 weeks. She's 2 weeks out from it today. She's going up to see her granddaughter. They are taking the port out because all of her tests have come back very positive. So she is no longer needing to have those weekly treatments. So that's very good news. And I said, spring break, we're going to go junk. Because we will both be fully vaccinated. So I'm excited about that. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at here on the farm. I've got to do a major scrub down of this house. Probably Saturday is my plan for that. And get that spare room cleaned up and hang some birdhouses. And spring has sprung. So I'm excited about that. So that's all I've got to talk about today on the farm. So we're going to move on and talk about a few final thoughts. Okay, so I've moved into my den because frankly I couldn't be bothered to unplug my computer and move it into the other room because I'm getting ready for my interview with Logan. But I was thinking, especially lately, about standing up for those who are voiceless or those who are I don't want to say the underdog, but those who are not able, who are marginalized and who are, sometimes society doesn't see their value or are told that they don't have any value. And, that applies into a lot of areas of our lives. Trying to learn to be an ally to different marginalized groups is one. Trying to learn to speak up for children is another one. I am a big advocate for, you don't make your kids hug people that they don't feel comfortable hugging, stuff like that. I don't think you should force your kids to hug anybody that they're not comfortable hugging. But I ran across a poem, and I've seen it before, and it really has always spoken to me. Even though I am not a biological mother, I try to convey my love of the earth and my love of nature to the people around me, especially my writing kids or to the kids that I teach or whatever. I say kids, they're young adults. But I think this poem is really, it's short, but it really spoke to my heart about standing up for those who need a hero. They need someone to speak for them. And it doesn't have to be a big voice that you speak in. It's just a voice that says, this life also has meaning and value. So, may we raise children who love the unloved things, the dandelion, the worms, and the spiderlings. Children who sense the rose needs the thorn and run into rain-swept days the same way they turn toward the sun. And when they're grown and someone has to speak for those who have no voice, may they draw upon that wilder bond, those days of tending tender things, and be the ones. And that's by Nicolette Souter, and it's from a website called Wilder Child. Your kids learn by example. They see what you do, they follow your example, and everybody's an example to somebody. Even if you don't have biological children, somebody is watching you, whether it's a niece or a nephew, or like my writing students or my students at UCA. They see what you do, and so when they're grown and someone has to speak for those who have no voice, they're going to remember those lessons that you taught them. So anyway, I hope y'all are all doing well. I hope you're taking care of yourself during these times. Get some rest, drink some water, enjoy a book, take some downtime. There is no, procrastination is not a sin. Taking time for yourself is not a sin. It shouldn't be a dirty word. But at any rate, so I hope y'all are all doing good. Until I see y'all again, y'all be good to each other. And what is it, Willie? He's right here sleeping and he's on his cushion. Be good to each other and take care of each other. Until I see y'all again. Peace out, y'all. Bye.